Hello everyone, Alex here, and today we're gonna talk about Wonder Woman. It's an interesting subject because she was the best character in the game by far for a long time, but is she still? So that's the point of this video. There's been a lot of discussion. It's very advanced players that say that basically if you have everything built at a similar level than her, like badges, ranks, gear, artifacts, or you move her artifact to a different character, then she's clearly no longer the best. I'm gonna say my opinion. I'm gonna both say the positive things about her and why she may still be the best character in the game, and also the negative things about her, why she may be getting replaced or may, by point of view, viewing at it, not be the best character anymore. I've also been seeing some mid-game players claiming that Wonder Woman is falling off end game, which I think is kind of weird, almost like they want to justify not investing into her. And if someone has a rank 8 Wonder Woman and saying that, well, she's a useless end game, I would be very questionable about that, and I wouldn't trust that. I'm like first was top 10 here, the first server combined with the 9th. Still I am like 11th or whatever. Since recovery I'm even bigger. I was like top 6, and I'm in the top 4 alliance, usually third. We're number 2 a couple of weeks ago. Now we're number 4. But and I'm top performer here. It's not like the opponents are carrying me. And it's been a little bit of a slow week because we're doing a bit more quietly this week. So about Wonder Woman, yes, she is at the start of the game in the mother box, which everyone recommends you to select her. I'm still under this opinion. There could be a small argument that you can pick Superman because the burn team is stronger. I'm gonna question that, and I'm of the opinion that you need to select Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman is very strong. She should be very dominant in arena, and I'm still using her as being very high in my arena placements. Usually I finish in the season as Grandmaster 1, unless someone maybe attacks me a few minutes before it ends and I don't notice it. Maybe then I go and move down to 2400, because I'm not like the biggest whale in my server. Far from it, so someone cannot whale me and attack me last moment to gain a lot of points. I get that. The team I'm using still, but I'm very close to changing it, is not this. This is the team that I'm gonna showcase why it might be better. The team I'm using is this. That is with Wonder Woman, Zatanna, so you go first and have some sustain. In combination with a block team, I like a little bit of more defensive setup with reinforcement. I like Holy Light better than Parallax. It kind of works better for me. In this team, I like this. I just maxed it out with a 100% stun, so might be doing a little bit more damage that way. I like the extra sustain that the mirror gives you. I replaced that, but I was also using Tiger for a while. Nightwing is very survivable, can stun an opponent's big damage dealer. It's not a super extremely reliable team that will always get you defensive victories, but was the main team I was using in arena until today. I still have them on defense. I'm gonna talk about arena first and what I think the best are. So I'm gonna move a little bit better artifacts on the cards. I'm gonna and gear. I'm also gonna explain why this might work. So if you have a big Ivy does a lot of damage in the back row, and I kinda don't want to have speed on her that I have on Wonder Woman, so I'm gonna pick Sinestros gear on her. So I'm also gonna put an artifact here. Let's also put a bit better gear on him. Let's put Constantine's gear, and we are gonna attack. Do we have anything else that we need here? Let's also put on Superman this U, because I'm thinking of doing this change anyways. Put this. Okay, so let's go in main arena and let's try to find mirror match. Or something similar that I'm running. So let's refresh that because it's not gonna show too much. I want to find a team that is not super big fan. I want to have a Blue Beetle in here. Let's also put some fun AI music. No. Can we have something more interesting? Okay, this is the team I want. It's a let's see their size if we can. Well, it's confusing to do that. Let's attack and we're gonna see it later. Okay, so this is my ultimate order. Have this team synergy active. Let's go. And also parallax. I want more offense here. Okay, so now we have poison on Wonder Woman. I'm gonna do more damage, we kill her. That's basically the point. Usually when I face up against small punch downs, we don't kill, but let's play out a little bit. Also want to, if Superboy does something, I want to show that. And I want to see I want to do basically a smaller punch down or punch across, because it's a very strong team that arguably is the best, or a version of the best team. So the cleanse kinda counters Ocean Master. Yeah, if you saw Superboy counter-attacked, Ocean Master's counter-attack has a small chance of doing so, and they can deal a lot of damage on him, especially if he counterattacks 4 times. He will have a burn detonation, which deals a lot of damage. Yeah, he's done. And we won this. Yeah, that doesn't matter. Ivy is the leader here, the damage dealer. It's probably a big punch down. 302, this is too small of a punch down. I want to find something, 326 or whatever. Let's see here. Also tried against like other Wonder Woman teams, and the team can still win, like the one I just showed. Okay.
Yo, it's Alex on the channel. Welcome to the fight. Main stages, team up convergence ignite. Earth and parallel, Earth side by side. Crime syndicates here
Annoying.
when worlds collide.
I think I can watch all the replays, can I?
Nightwing tanks, black team strong. Blue beetle, ocean master, we
Okay, let's see this. How much is he? 312. Okay, he's a little bit closer to mine. Let's watch this replay. I'm T26, so it's still a Pantheon. But it's the team that I want to... that I'm using now. I want to showcase why Ivy might be better. For once, yeah, Blue Beetle kinda counters like the Zatanna stuff, but you can go first and kill the opponent before they start doing stuff. So, if Ivy was a little bit bigger because her budget is just budget 20, 25 or 30, maybe have parallax, it's at level rank 3, maybe at rank 4 or 5 it gives you a little bit more damage amplification. You could have like a signature that gives her 10% more attack from gear. You can silence them with a maxed out lasso. But you see, it's we have done a lot of damage. We killed Ocean Master. Most talking I didn't notice, but I think Superboy does some counter attacks on him that helps kill him. And that's basically why she might be better, Ivy, here. Let's have this win. Yeah, let's win. Okay, so well, let's talk about block, okay, and why we need to, how we can counter them. So block gain a lot of block amount that he has like 32.4. The base block amount is already another 20, so it's 52. He also gives them a lot of block chance and block amount if they're the lowest HP, and with his team synergy he heals them and increases their attack stat. All of that works when your characters block, but block has a distinction with a block amount that physical damage it blocks, it reduces, but not superpower damage. So you have Wonder Woman starting with her ultimate, and it deals physical damage, and her advanced attack the same. She deals superpower damage. So might be similar to have a big Ivy or to have a big Wonder Woman as far as what you can do on an opponent's Wonder Woman. Ivy might outpace her a little bit. She might be a little bit stronger because she focuses her damage on the back row, especially if we consider having the same, and with her buds maxed out, it will put out poison to everyone in the back row. It's a 2 stacks of poison plus 1 here, 3 stacks. This makes her deal 45% more damage because the opponents will have more poison. Yeah, combined with like other stuff like lasso, parallax, and gear, and Zatanna's crit chance. You can go first, you can kill the opponent. Wonder Woman may still survive because of the like crit reduction and back row damage reduction that Blue Beetle provides, but having Ivy, what I've noticed by one day of testing this team, I tested that before but it didn't work, not having it didn't work successfully, not having Terrific at rank 10. His team synergy heals the team a lot, which helps with the sustain. It's very strong and it's kinda bugged. It heals them even with when debuffs expire, not just the big cleanse, so they can heal a lot, I think. And well, if you don't have Terrific at rank 10, you can really run this team. So one thing in consideration with the recommendations, we want to talk more about that, is like Wonder Woman is still a lot more free-to-play friendly than other options in many cases. So, but, and also having his team synergy will give her a 50% more superpower damage. So this will help Ivy maybe surpass Wonder Woman's damage. But the main difference is that with Ivy, you will deal more damage on Ocean Master because Ocean Master has 32.4% block amount that he's gonna reduce the damage coming in from Wonder Woman, while from Ivy he can't. He will still activate the 1% healing and then will give more attack stat on his teammate, but he won't reduce the damage. Add to that the possibility, the chance of he has a 12, can go to 15% counter attack when an ally is attacked, which counts when they're counter attacked by Ocean Master. That's very interesting here, and it decreases by another 5%. And he also has the basic rate, so it goes to 20 or 17, I guess, if you have him rank his bats at 20, but his rank at 9. And he also has a chance 30% to do 2 counter attacks, which will deal more damage and put 2 burns out, because every basic of his puts 1 stack of burn. And if his badge is maxed out, he will have more attack and damage amplification, crit damage, which are all nice and will help you win. But he will also have a 50% chance of doing 2 counter attacks instead of 1. And well, even if it's like a 20% chance from the baseline, and then you have another 50 that if you have the 20, let's call it 30% to just make math simple, that you are gonna do 2 counterattacks and not 1. Well, this will deal more damage to Ocean Master. Superboy is still a superpower damage dealer, so it will not get stopped by block amount, and he can counterattack 4 times. It's a detonation, a lot of damage on Ocean Master. Poisons by Ivy will reduce the passive healing here by a little bit, so that's a little bit of an extra, because a poison, each sack of poison reduces healing received by 10%, so 30-40% less healing from the 1% that Ocean Master does. But even now the lifesteal from Zatanna, because they changed that, so one more reason to rush this team if you want to have a little bit of a stronger main arena team. So yeah, basically you end up killing Ocean Master a lot faster than having Wonder Woman in the team. Even having a little bit of a smaller team, like other characters, not exactly the same level as Wonder Woman. And having also his ultimate cleansing the team is one other way to stop Ocean Master, because his play is that he puts out many weekends by counterattacking and then turning them into bleeds, and you deal less damage by having stacks of weaken on you. Each stack of weaken reduces attack by 8% and block break, and it goes to maximum 15 stacks, which will make you, in my understanding, do 0 damage basically. So you counter that by having a not too far in the ultimate order the is third from Mr. Terrific. So even if Ocean Master is very beefy and survives, he's still not gonna do bleed damage to you. He's still not gonna reduce your attack too much because you're gonna cleanse that. If anything, you're gonna throw it back to the opponents. So it's a counter to them. They also have some physical damage reduction in their kit. He does physical damage and he bleeds our physical damage, and he does physical damage, I guess, with his ultimate and his basic. It's not something too much worth mentioning. We're talking about Wonder Woman primarily, that she does physical damage. So if you also have in this team, want to turn off invulnerable so he can stay alive a little bit. Dampen on everyone that you will deal 10% more damage and more dampen from Terrific. You'll deal more damage with Ivy's ultimate turn 1. You can have a very nice synergy here. I think I explained it very well. He gets 30% physical damage reduction and another 15% here, so he takes 45% less damage by physical damage dealer that are Wonder Woman, so he can stay as a tank that he will get her advanced attack and not drop very, very low. He also heals a lot after that, so he has a little bit of sustain. He also gives sustain. He has some. And is this here? No, it's on him. He has basic damage reduction, it's not too bad. He has physical damage reduction, 3.5%, whatever that matters, doesn't matter too much, I think. He has also base damage reduction. He doesn't have physical reduction here, but he adds more dampen to add to the equation. He has here, during battle, he gains 30% physical reduction. So he can stay alive a little bit longer against a Wonder Woman. So with the introduction of a Justice Gang, especially, you kind of need to have Terrific at rank 10. I brought him today and it changes the game by having more sustain. Then you... and having a big Ivy, at least rank 10. Or having Ivy at rank 11 might allow you to one-shot the opponents. I still have very nice gear on her, like a lot of attack bonus, but you could get another 10% here, you could get another 10% here. You could have a little bit of a better investment into gear that, or her badge that will give her also attack, stat, crit damage, application. I can see a little bit of a bigger Ivy, consistent, or moderate amount of bigger Ivy, not a small investment, but a medium investment, to completely outpacing Wonder Woman. And at the moment, I can't afford really having always Lash on her, especially if I don't use her in Elite Arena, which I'm gonna talk about after. I kind of want to have her own gear here, and usually just use her at the moment only in League Challenge 1, which I move gear from other characters on her and artifacts, and then I leave her without gear or with a base gear, that I just have that when I change gear with other characters, at least I have some stat buffs when they are in Elite Arena and I'm using their gear on Ivy. Hope that makes sense. I think I made the case why Wonder Woman is no longer the main meta, the first best option for main arena. And let me ask a question. If she's not your main DPS in main arena, is she the best character in the game? Is she S tier? Let me ask a counter question. Until yesterday, I used her in a very competitive server to always finish as at the rankings at Grandmaster 1. Legendary is not really realistic to do that consistently. Maybe you want to do that once, but even then it's kind of expensive just to gain the 2000 diamonds. But I don't think it's very realistic. No one really finishes there. So am I losing reward? Were I losing rewards not having Wonder Woman? No. It's a little bit more annoying, a little bit more time consuming. Okay, you will lose a little bit more on defense. You need to do more attacks last moment to counter that. So yes, Wonder Woman is not the meta anymore in main arena. She's out of that, but you can still get by with her, at least now. Maybe if more people start having rank 11 and badge 30 Justice Gang, Superboys and Ivy, this will become a lot more apparent. So Wonder Woman in arena, not anymore. Okay, change the gear, that's why I paused it. Don't need to see that. So let's talk Elite Arena. Well, if you talk about Elite Arena, right, you have to consider the burn team now, because team synergy from Superboy at rank 10, when burn detonates, it will lower the target's block rate by 12%. All the burn characters are doing superpower damage. They will remove the opponent's block sans, which I don't think is the most important stuff. I guess you will reduce the healing that goes off from Motion Master and make them get attacks less quickly. He will do less counter attacks, but even if he does, you have some physical reduction on your kits for him. You could make an argument that okay, you hybridize with Mr. Terrific. I'm gonna make a different argument about Terrific later, and you have a cleanse in the team. Nice. Detonations can do a lot of damage. Superboy can counterattack if you're lucky, if you got good RNG, or even just because it happens a lot. It's gonna be in the argument that the opponent's Ocean Master counterattacks a lot, so he counterattacks back. You can have him at Badge 30 doing more counterattacks, more detonations. You have everyone on your team doing detonations. They just got a buff. Some characters of them, like a Starfire, that wasn't very strong. And on paper, they are, in theory at least, they're beating block. Sounds reasonable. You have a lot of superpower damage in the team, and also you have physical reduction from 3 characters: Superboy, Superman DCU, and original Superman. That then I forgot to change this artifact. Or yeah, maybe we're gonna keep it on him later. You have him, you have original Superman, you have Superboy taking less physical damage, so you can kind of counter Wonder Woman teams as well. And if you see some people like very high, they are running block teams, full burn teams, sorry. But if you're also seeing that and trying to test a team with less burn members, I know an alliance mate of mine has tried a team with everyone but Starfire before their buff, and it wasn't particularly effective in Elite Arena. It was a little bit hit or miss. You could do some punch downs against block. So you really need to have 5 characters that you wouldn't necessarily prioritize. You kinda need to have him that's not super available unless you spend some money. His budget 30 looks very juicy. It might be necessary. You need crypto. Many people might not have him free to play. So you get, and he wasn't like super available until kinda recently, and also wasn't super great. He got a buff now. But this season he has more stats and being an anti-hero and everything. So this kinda okay, the argument, okay. They can be an option. But how expensive is it to build them? If you aren't a big spender, is it worth it to spend a lot of money or to try to get very good RNG, potentially get Superman, potentially not? I don't have him yet. Build up those 2 characters that weren't that great until recently, then now they got a buff. Or is it better to hybridize like Superboy, Superman DCU with some sort of Justice Gang or even debuffs I'm going to talk about? And does this make more sense? And what do you do if you don't have crypto? Because crypto looks to be very important in this team. Well, today I'm going to give one more argument. Okay, this season, take into account that superpower damage dealers, that all of the burn characters have a small neck on the shoulder. They're not super optimal because they gain 1 stack of slow and 2 stacks of weaken when they attack. And I want to show my team. I'm gonna attack against Reaper. Reaper is one of the biggest accounts in the game. is someone that was running a burn in Elite Arena, and is someone that would say probably that Wonder Woman is no longer meta in Elite Arena. So Reaper has a big level advantage over me. I'm gonna show my attack, and but is 346. I'm 326. So basically I did this attack just so I wanted to test and to see why a burn beats block. That's basically what I wanted to test here, trying block against them. Well, it's not really reasonable to win. There's a big level advantage on me anyway. Let's try the burn to understand better this counter. So let's play that. Okay. So, okay, you can keep in mind that they gain, if you see Superboy gains some extra debuffs because of the season. But it's also massive punch up.
Behind the line, counter slam, bleed, spark and shine. Every block feels the tide amount. He weaves his curse, foes feel the count. Weekend stacks the tide depth slow.
Was very basically the artifact saved me here. I don't really see like Starfire doing something interesting, to be honest. Like, even with the bad season, that kind of hinders them.
Constantine grins with chaotic flair, strips their buffs, none can compare. Sacrifice James, then heals restore. Risky moves, he evens the score. Pandora
Should it be that dominant for block? You could argue good RNG. I would argue big pin punch up. You can argue the season, I hear that. Okay, so basically what I'm getting at, I don't want to claim like burn doesn't work or it's not better. Yes, it's hindered by the season, but this is the nature of Elite Arena. What I'm gonna argue is this. I don't think it's worth it for me to spend a lot of money to unlock Superman, then spend more money to rank up his badges to 30 because it might be necessary, then spend more money to unlock crypto eventually with from the shop here, if it's even possible. Probably it is. To have a team that is not winning extremely consistently against a block. I also seen a situation where I just noticed a matchup in Victor's Arena where again a block did win against a burn team. This time it was a punch down. okay, but really what I want to get out is I don't need burn for main stages. Main stages are done for me. It's a done deal. I have 4 teams. I don't need them for that. Would be nice to have them as an option for the second league challenge here, but we're in the point in the game where burn is no longer the worst requirement here that less people would have. It's more so back row. So could use them here. It's better to use back row. It's more in demand. In Elite Arena, okay, I guess they can win against block. They have some stuff in their kit. Are they used in any evil falls? No. I guess you can try to do like a burn team here. But besides that, I wouldn't use them in team ups. I wouldn't use them in crisis watch. I don't really see the point of building, of wailing out a lot for a burn team. I'm sure if you are a whale, I'm gonna go counter a little bit of what I said. Try a burn team if you're close to that. Maybe it will help you win against block teams in Elite Arena if this is something that you're interested in. I'm 100% not gonna well out for a burn team that can win, that can't win because of it's punching up, or because you don't have proper investment into everyone. Because I don't think like Superman, even if you unlock Superman, you kind of need to bring him at a higher rank. So more willing to do for that. To have a team that can still lose because they changed an Elite Arena season, or you're punching up, or whatever. It's not as dominant as I would like it, and frankly, I'm not inclined at all to build a burn team, and I'm even trash talking them a little bit now. But what I found interesting is, why can't we try to mirror? And what I'm thinking, it's a lot more free-to-play friendly and maybe even more effective. Also had discussions with other players that what they're running in Elite Arena and how well it's working against block. What I found interesting, can we mirror something like we did now in Arena, in main Arena? And can we take advantage of a terrific? There were some rare cases in Elite Arena where my block would lose against, well, it's one player basically that has a strong team that does that. Usually they don't lose, but they were losing against a terrific team. But they had a big hull that's very hard to obtain. I really like Wonder Woman still as a recommendation because it's very easy to obtain. You can just you can get her by a mother box at the start of the game. You can buy her fragments here, and you can have a big Wonder Woman faster than many other characters. And if you are relying on having Hal, where is Hal? You just need to pull like those two, spend a lot of money to randomly have a very small chance of getting him. So I wouldn't recommend Hal. If you have him, use him, he's very strong, but you need to also have Hal. Hal at rank 8 is not very strong. I faced against many Hals at rank 8 in Elite Arena, and I walk all over them. Basically, he does something similar than Wonder Woman, is my understanding. I hired him as a mercenary a few times because he is very interesting and I want to test him out. He kind of does something similar than Wonder Woman, but he's superpowered damage, so he can kill the block amount as similar as Ivy does. He could target down one person a bit more, is my understanding, with the ultimate, if you get lucky or not. And my current Elite Arena team is has Constantine that sacrifices 15% of your team's HP. So one more, they are like 15% more liable to be chopped off in the back row than not having Constantine. Pandora also does something similar, which sacrifices her own HP. If someone of the two dies, you can lose. And if you have like a Hal that does a lot of damage and hits into a Constantine that's already a little bit squishy and will have 15% less HP and hits him a few times, can chop him off and you can win. So but I had for a very long time a version of debuff that was my worst team in Elite Arena. I would just throw it as a sacrifice lamp against opponents' blocks. And I thought, okay, well, why wasn't I running Terrific, especially at rank 9 in Elite Arena? Because in the front row, many opponents have Sinestro that use them. And okay, to some degree, like there's a 30% chance that a debuff team is beating a crit team. I'm gonna go about that, what can counter crit, and why Wonder Woman is or isn't any more Elite Arena meta now. So I was thinking, okay, well, if you have Terrific in the front row, he can die by a Sinestro opponent's ultimate very, very easily. But what if you have Raven to revive him immediately and Superman DCU next to him? So you at least have one character. You will have both characters alive at the end of the turn because of the invulnerable. He can absorb more attacks. You won't be in a situation where your front row, all of them died. They are still putting out debuffs like Terrific and Superboy that I brought here because he can counterattack a lot. And you have a chance, in theory, because I haven't tested it extensively, that Superboy is still gonna do his counterattacks. If you had the rank 9 Superman DCU, he would extend some burn, so you could have a little bit of burn action with detonation a little bit more often. But you have still a lot of debuffs, you have a lot of damage, you have sustain by replacing Grodd and being able to activate his team synergies that is missing in a debuff team that already was losing. You have superpower damage. I've seen some situations where Sinestro can make you win against a block team if you get good RNG. So he, being superpower damage, can potentially kill the front row of the opponents and can help you win. So I kinda cover the weakness of Superman, of Mr. Terrific in Elite Arena, that he can be countered by an opponent Sinestro, because he will immediately get revived by Raven and will have more stats. And you also have Superboy in there putting out debuffs by doing counterattacks, potentially can make you win against an opponent's Ocean Master. You have a lot of superpower damage, you have debuffs going out, you have cleanses against opponent's debuffs, and block teams. I'm not saying this is the strongest team. I think it's very good substitute for burn and something that I would recommend. And especially if you don't have Hal, it's not really worth it trying to do something different with a Terrific. I've seen some situations where he just throw Terrific with a debuff, but I would argue it is not as strong. And yeah, you also have Superboy that can potentially clip an opponent or hit many times with his ultimate someone, but also with the counterattacks, clip an opponent. Ocean Master out. So I'm just gonna show my first attack that they did against Reaper again. That's a very big punch up, and it's also against block, which is what I wanted to test. Okay. And they lost, but I want to see the potential here. It was just a test, I wasn't even expecting to win that. So, if you noticed, Sinestro was at 5 Powers of Fear, I don't know what it's called. He could have done an ultimate if you had one more counterattack, for example, from Superboy. very nice cleanse here. If anything, you flip the match around by doing that. The opponents are now in a liable position with debuffs. Now Shinesu gets to go. Now we have a situation where our team has a bad chance because of the seasonal rules. So I like the damage that has done already against Nightwing. If he was at the same level as me and rank, maybe he would be dead. Like, at minimum, I was expecting this team to die a lot quicker. But look at the sustain, it's awesome. And it's just at rank 9, Superboy is very close to go to rank 10. Also the immune here is kinda nice against like the debuff that I do.
Team, crit team, the buff dreams, justice gang game. Alex's channel where the fans are right. Hit that play. DC will collide.
Like super nice sustain. Kinda close to killing Blue Beetle. Like if I was rank 10, could squeeze an ultimate in here, almost killed the front row. So I could see like a punch across this winning. And this kind of a strong team, like not many people are having a cyborg to begin with. So at least it showed very nice potential that is interesting for me. And let's talk directly about like Wonder Woman. Why? Because okay, I was always under the, especially if you notice that here, that there is here the challenge description part. In a later in a Victor's Arena, you see 50% damage reduction at the beginning of the battle. At the end of each round, you gain 50% damage increase. At the end of the 5th round, an additional 50% healing reduction will be added at the end of each round. So what this reads to me is don't use the old crit team meta, which basically had instead of Peacemaker and Bride in here, you would have maybe a Penguin that could make you do more damage because he gives 10% more damage by his umbrella for the back row. You would have Red Hood in the front row, so he dies and revives and does one more ultimate for free. You would have the 20% crit chance crit damage from Red Hood, so you kill the opponents quickly. You would have Two-Face in the back row, so you'd have 18% more damage amplification for Wonder Woman. Lex to call more assist, so you have more sustain, a little bit more basic damage against the opponents. You gain more frantics on Wonder Woman. Basically, some sort of synergy like this, which is go fast. I have a song that's called like that. AI decided to call that. Go fast, hit hard. Like, go fast and kill the opponents quickly. Well, if you start the match with 50% less damage, it's not optimal to do that. Also, you have Blue Beetle countering crit in his kit. You have Peacemaker countering a crit in his kit. You have now Mera and by extension Aquaman that counter crit because she starts with Zebel armor, probably didn't pronounce that correctly, reducing incoming crit damage by 100% for 2 turns, and reduces the attacker's crit damage by 20% for the rest of the battle. He copies that on himself. So you will get a lot less crit damage, and it goes to a point where you start thinking, okay, first of all, the target like directly crit team and to counter Wonder Woman, and you also have this team here that gains some physical damage reduction, and you have a Justice Gang gaining some physical damage reduction. So there's a lot of going on against crit, against physical, that all of them does physical damage. He does physical damage, not that it matters too much. He's there mostly, a little bit for the life steal, but mostly for the 18% damage application. This team, has many counters, and playing with a Wonder Woman, because there's many characters that can put out debuffs a lot more now, and you can kind of hybridize to some degree Justice Gang with a debuff that can have some physical damage reduction, some characters on their kit. It can have a, depending on the team composition, a small chance, like 25-30% chance, if you get good RNG, that your debuff team wins against a crit team. So yeah, crit is no longer the meta by any means. Not only in the main arena, where originally they were replaced by block and now by a team that counters block, but also in Elite Arena. And frankly, the reason I still have a crit team is with the introduction of Peacemaker, that puts out Fragile, that allows you to do more physical damage. Where is it? Here, this one. Adds stacks of Fragile that you do 10% more physical damage. He adds some armor break that can help you put a little bit more damage out. This synergizes a little bit with Zatanna, more so for main sages, because he deals more damage for every stack of armor break, but he's not really a damage dealer anyways. He's kind of survivable. He gives Tldr that can help the team survive. With his artifact here, he adds more fragile and slow to the opponent. So, and having Bright now with the rework especially, the hard hits are doing more damage now. She does a revive. She has some crit in her kit that can optimize this, so you gain quicker stacks of superpower resistance. And the 100% more stats on the 3 cards I just showed, like Peacemaker, Bride, and Red Hood. You have Red Hood doing 100% more damage. That's very strong, even though he's kind of out of the meta. With this, he's in it. You have those 2 characters that even rank 8 having 100% more stats. They will have a tiny bit with the damage, but more so there will be beefier tanks. And you have Fragile that you can take advantage of with the team. I also have put Red Hood using his ultimate first. If you go against a rank 10 opponent's Vigilante, Judo Master, sorry, then they will counter attack him. I would love it for him to die and revive and do more damage. Usually he doesn't die, but he has more stats now. He can take the hits, and you have Wonder Woman safe. If anything, she will be having like 15% more damage increase, because she will use her ultimate a couple of turns later. So maybe this can clip off the opponents, and before they couldn't. So the anti-hero addition was a way to kind of keep them in power and working. And frankly, there are like 5 people that have like very strong rosters and either maybe a very big Ivy kind of can work, but also like burn teams and whatever. I've also done like some burns attacks where I can see that going either way, especially being the punch up and me dropping them very low or killing a couple of them. I could see a crit team not reliably being countered by block, almost something like by burn, sorry, almost like now with the debuff that you have a chance of winning still. So I would question burn beating crit, but I also haven't used them on offense as a team. Maybe I was super lucky and it was a seasonal. Now that my block countered them, I'm just saying for me to build them, it's not a good show. I don't need to build a burn team, that's what I'm saying. I'm more so leaning into the Justice Skunk, which may even be stronger. And just replaced like a bad debuff team that, if anything, even if they win like 30% against an opponent's block, well, they had a 3%. So I was throwing them anyways against an opponent's block as sacrificial lambs. Now sometimes they can win me. I can consider throwing an Ivy in here. There's other things that you may want to do. Maybe if you have bad 30 on Guy, he can be an option in here. I kinda like to keep like Raven to revive Terrific in here and to maybe have Sinestro doing a lot of damage. But I would consider replacing Sinestro with Ivy or something. I'm just at the start of testing that. But besides the few people that have very advanced rosters and have a like stronger block teams that can win the mirror, because Pandora is not the best for mirror match, she can counterattack herself to death, and as I said, Constantine is squishy. But besides like a couple of those people, I'm usually in the top 10 in my elite arena. And I would say that the crit team, I had a little bit of a worse. Second team was my second best team, was getting a lot of victories, especially offensively. Usually the mirror matches were very solid. Many people aren't using Red Hood, I don't know why. And use some sort of Green Arrow team that even if you have the silence, kind of doesn't work out properly, and you have more burst damage with a Red Hood. You have them flipping the match around that him doing a free ultimate, reviving, can kill someone. He has take action bar with the artifact I have on him. Anyways, was winning very, very consistently against opponents' crit teams. Maybe I have build them in a way where this is possible, like 70-80% of the time. And many people are still using crit teams. I haven't replaced them with burn teams. So the argument some mid players are saying that, well, she falls off late game and it's not super important to use her or whatever. Well, I'm the first elite arena. Even if you go here, like number 5 has a team like this. Number 6 at least uses her. Another crit team. It's not unusual to have like crit teams. As you see, many people even in the top 10, not in the top 5, have as me, that I'm usually around like number 7 with 14. I was fluctuating a lot this season or last season, and I was still using a crit team as one of my teams that I admit is because of the anti-hero attack. And they also win against debuff, as I said. They can win against most Justice Gang teams that don't have a very big hull, or have a hull but also have like a fifth random character, like even like a big hull, and they had the Two-Face for whatever reason as a fifth character, 3 Justice Gang, big rank 10 hull, and I was still winning very consistently against them. So you need to have a very, very, very strong Justice Gang team to counter them, probably well thought in some way that usually they were winning against that. So still a lot of uses for Crit team, especially because they kinda were revamped by the anti-heroes and they synergize well together. What I want to do after this season is over, the first person that I'm gonna say that a Crit team is done. Yes, I don't use them in main stages, or I'm gonna talk about main stages later. I never used really Red Hood in main stages. They are out of the main arena meta by 2 metas now. First the block and then a sort of Justice Gang meta. Some people have attacked me punching down with more burn characters in them. I'm not saying this isn't a thing at all to counter my block for main arena. I would move Wonder Woman instead of Constantine. I would put a Kid Flash that doesn't sacrifice his own HP and doesn't hit the opponent so much to do better in mirror matches and some other matches. Is a team I'm using very often in main stages, work very, very nice, or in system recovery. And I would try to do a third team, either some sort of like a sacrifice team, hybrid kinda, maybe something with the next team season, maybe if I weld out for a 11 seed kid, maybe they can fill a spot there. Maybe you can try to make a burn and a different debuff team. There's many options that you can use, maybe Constantine in one of them and Pandora. When the anti-hero season is over, I'm expecting the Crit team to go away from Elite Arena. Not necessarily Wonder Woman. Let's show my third attack against Reaper, where I used my Wonder Woman Crit team.
Action bars start to climb. Satana's got that perfect time. Wonder Woman cracks the ground when she slams no one.
And again, it's a massive punch up by levels, ranks, etc. But also the opponents are super power damage dealers, so they have a bad season for them. I really like the extra revive health now on Bride. Built to last, we'll see. And healing by Peacemaker, very nice, can help this team kinda counter the meta where they need to slow play. I'm not saying this wasn't close. I'm saying they're not completely out of the meta yet. We fight well. This was kind of weird how it hit. Deadwood comes for the save. Turn the match around. He flips the fight. It's perfect timing. Okay, so I think I made the case about Wonder Woman. If you see, I lost the next match because he basically started using her as well, because anti-heroes kind of keep them relevant. I'm not saying I wasn't lucky. I'm not saying the superpower hindrance of this season isn't something to consider. I'm saying I'm still using in Elite Arena, in the most competitive server that I'm usually top 10 in, a version of a crit team that I'm planning to replace. I'm not planning to replace Wonder Woman. I think that she will be stronger in block. Block kinda can, to add in the discussion, are strong in the mirror match if they have a lot of sustain. I don't own a Cyborg. I don't own a Martian Manhunter. So I'm planning to just replace Pandora with Kid Flash. That's more of a character that cannot be clipped off as easily by counterattacks or whatever. Wonder Woman is beefier than Constantine. We won't have the 15% sacrifice HP. I think this will kinda lessen the chance of a Mr. Terrific, Justice Gang, and the very big Hal teams working against that. And I think they will do very strong in mirror matches because something similar is happening in main arena for a while now. But instead of Zatan, I'm planning to put Kid Flash, more of a sustain type of character. Zatanna can help strengthen a different team, some sort of Death Gang or block. So to conclude with that, and also in Victor's Arena this season I was finished 16th. Where is it? This one. I don't even know. Yeah, this season I was 16th, previous season I was 8th. It's using Wonder Woman, being in the top 10, not in the top 5. I fight against many Wonder Woman team. A crit team that's effective, that wins a mirror match, is still very valuable to me. So I'm planning to replace a crit team there. Yes. I'm planning to throw Wonder Woman out. No. Maybe if you are a big well and you have a massive burn and you don't have the season that hinders you, they will be a super great option. Maybe you can throw cyborgs and peacemakers and Martian Manhunters into, or some sort of sustained team like that in block, and it's actually better. I want to try that with Wonder Woman and the Kid Flash. I haven't tried that too much. I know Pandora and Constantine can be clipped off a little bit like this with counterattacks and whatever. You will be getting less counterattacks with Kid Flash and Wonder Woman, and Wonder Woman is beefier than Constantine. Also, to add to the discussion, because they can have this artifact to counter that, and the whole story with a lot of counterattacks by Ocean Master and the Weekends and the Blitz and whatever. What I plan to do is to max out this artifact. It cleanses all control, debuff, and action bar effects. My understanding, this will cleanse, I haven't tested that, it will cleanse silence, it will cleanse stun, it will cleanse weaken, and you can't apply weaken on her, you can apply bleed. And she will be having 40% damage application. Yes, I'm gonna put it on Wonder Woman. So you're gonna have 10% life steal. On second turn, which is closer to dying, she will be having, and she has some protection by like a blue beetle for the back row. She will be having 15% more life steal. She will be getting haste, so she goes faster. Frantic doesn't really need. She will gain 40% damage amplification. So basically, you're betting more on the. Maybe I'm even gonna have Nightwing doing his ultimate first. So if you have an opponent's Judo Master doing a lot of counterattacks in combination with a new artifact that can kill her for the counterattacks and the artifact counterattacking, want to do that, let them do that on a Nightwing that's very beefy, that maybe they will even get recoil damage by counterattacking him. He will block and they will get recoil damage. He will get very little damage. I don't really care on having him silenced and have her second, where she will be having 40% damage application, life steal, no debuffs on her, and she will be having 2 rounds with a haste, damage application, life steal, plus 10% life steal from this, plus a lot of healing by team synergy from Motion Master and a Kid Flash if he's beef enough to survive in this team. That's the next thing I'm planning to do with Elite Arena. I don't know where Lasso will go. Will it go on some sort of Ivy to try to utilize that? Constantine, because I rely a lot on his damage. Maybe someone like Sinestro just do a lot of damage. I don't particularly like putting it on characters like him or a Superboy, because it basically gives you 20% extra crit damage and 100% crit chance for the first strike of an ultimate, not for the whole ultimate. So his first strike does only 50% damage. The second strike, which is the strong one, does 200%, 270. You don't utilize that perfectly. It's still a small buff, and you will have all the like damage amplification and crit and whatever that you need to take into account. Maybe I'm gonna move this on Constantine to help him with the sustain. So that's what I'm planning to do in Elite Arena. I don't think Wonder Woman is dead by any means, but she's slowly getting replaced. I could definitely see the argument. I would even make it that if you have everything built up, maybe, and it's not a season where it's a superpower damage, maybe she won't have a place, because there might be a better block team without her in it. There might be a strong superpower damage team and some sort of debuff team that's still strong for whatever reason somewhere, and not better than a crit. Maybe you kind of hybridize and just use her alone in a team or with a Zatanna and throw away the rest of the crit team. Some sort of sacrifice, a crit hybrid, just something random to throw out because a new team that could hybridize with them. I haven't tested anything like this or seen it to work. About game modes, I still use her in team ups always as part of my main team. I still use her in Convergence Crisis in the red, and she's very strong there. And in the hero one, Central City, Evil Falls, she has fallen off. Yes, I just use her here, and I even see here some people not using her, but I brought it to level 32. I don't use her anywhere else where I was using her. I replaced her for Challenge 1, but I was using her until I got Guy's artifact to rank 3. I was using her here, now I'm not. I was using her on my second league challenge. I replaced her with Peacemaker, and she's doing better. The team. So yeah, she's falling off here. In main stages, I cannot really show the teams. In system recoveries, I'm usually using her, especially when I want to go like against the somewhere where you don't need to use a tactical characters. Where is it? Because usually here you want to clear like in a few turns, so Wonder Woman is very effective in that. I use a team like this, so not tactical, still Wonder Woman being the main damage dealer in here. I'm usually using her here from when you don't need that. I don't remember exactly now the team. Sometimes I'm using Sinestro more and more. But for the 5 turns you use her there. She does a lot of burst damage. That's her play style. And in main sages, as I said, I use her, the team as it is, very often in the first team. I have a video of the song where it's 58-30, where I use her in the first team. I use her until 59-30. I'm using her always. Sometimes I kinda need this team because Pandora kinda hits herself and you can't survive in the like the placement like this as a main sages team. Sometimes I can afford having Constantine and Pandora, which is my first option to try. So I could have a version like the crit team that I have in Elite Arena for as my third team in main sages, but instead of a Red Hood, I'm usually using Kid Flash and his Sim Synergy, and he helps with the sustain. Sometimes I'm using Two-Face if I want to kill the opponent's back row very quickly, and he also gives lifesteal, so you can have sustain from that. But he also has Kid Flash also has a Team Synergy, which I like. So a team like this is still relevant, especially in the third. There was a somewhere in the middle of the chapter 59 where you needed to. It's my dog snoring. I apologize. Where debuffs for whatever reason wasn't working at all, even though they are strong now for me. So I used them as the second team, and they were still very effective. But I also see some cases where, especially if you have a big terrific, because you had him at rank 9, so you didn't have the sustain. Yeah, they're better. Also, you could use, especially as a new well, you can try to use a team like the 11th Street Kids, and they can be very effective, especially in the third team. So her being relegating to carrying a third team that doesn't have great synergy with themselves just because she's a strong character kinda was falling, not having the role that she's carrying the first team and everyone in it. And then, so to conclude, like main arena, she's kinda out of the meta, but still kinda hanging on. Elite arena the same, but there's 3 teams, they may have more places there. Main sages is not the main carry. She is not the main carry as she used to be in the first team. You can still have a third team around her. You can batch the crit team all together. Use her in the first team with some sort of a comp, as I showed, with a block and Kid Flash. This way you don't even have to have Pandora at batch 30, which I'm planning to do because it will be very valuable anyways. So I wouldn't well out in my testing and whatever to rush to replace Wonder Woman everywhere. Maybe if you have everything built, she's actually, I'm not really denying that, she will get less and less play. You might replace her everywhere or use her as a less important role. At the same time, I'm very endgame. I'm still thinking she's my strongest character. Is she the best character in the game? Is she not? Maybe a way of looking at it is if you have a very developed and broad roster and have many characters at batch 30 and they can afford having gear investment into them, then there are many different characters To some degree, the answer is like Justice Skunk kinda replaced her, kinda. But part of the answer. There are many characters, individual, that some characters replace her in Arena, some characters replace her in Elite Arena, some other characters replace her in Evil Falls. Which is not really fair because in Evil Falls you need specific. They are designed in a way where more niche teams are being used. Some other characters may replace her in main stages. There's not one or two characters that take the first spot from her, in my opinion. That she use Sinestro or Deathstroke everywhere, or Hal, or Constantine, or I don't really see that. She's still the strongest plug and play character, but I see a world where in 3 months, because more and more teams come out and people invest into them, that kind of countered her. Her being used even less, definitely shown their intention to use her, to replace her out of the meta, to some degree, at least. It's a very strong as plug and play to use her in something like system recovery, where you need to go fast, or team ups. Absolutely. Can you replace her altogether? Yes. If you have to invest into one character to carry you early game, would it be Wonder Woman? Yes. I think I made my case. She's getting replaced a bit more and more. Also, league challenges, she doesn't really have a use, while other characters like Sinestro, for example, have in the third and are playing a very important role. So, yeah, she is losing her spot a little bit more and more. In my opinion, not wanting to be a massive well, she still holds the number one spot, and you could at least still rely on her for very end game content. It's a lot more questionable if she's number one, and she used to be like 50% better than the second character. Now she's 1% better, with many caveats that some characters are better in other game modes, etc, etc. This video was too long, sorry for that. We'll try maybe to add timestamps if it makes sense. Bye for now, guys.